Well, hi there. You're watching and or listening to North of Weatherfield, the Canadian Coronation Street podcast.
And this week we are talking about episodes that aired in Canada from April 22nd to April 26th. So if you haven't seen those episodes and you don't want to bother watching them because you were away somewhere nice, you can listen to this to catch up.
However,
don't want to know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then you can stay. Yeah, exactly. But if you don't want to know, avert your eyes and or ears.
Come back later.
Until such time that it's safe. My name is Brittlestar.
My name's Shannon.
We also have guests this week. The guests are, please introduce yourself, guests.
My name is Karen Robinson.
My name is Janice Robinson Longmore.
Well, there you go. There you go. And you guys are joining us from which exotic location are you in, Karen?
Downtown Toronto, Ontario.
And Janice?
Kingston, Jamaica.
There you go. I knew someone would be cool.
And it's not me. It's never me.
So as is tradition on the show, what we do is I introduced ourselves, but those aren't our real names. Our real names this week are, who are you going to be, Shannon?
I'm going to be Glenda.
Oh, damn it.
Because I hurt my back a little bit. So I'm just she always just keeps upright. And she swivels like this when she's talking to anyone.
That's pretty good, Glenda.
I wish I could do the makeup like Glenda, because then I'd be unstoppable.
I'm going to be I've already
You're not
did
allowed
that
to
one.
be Steve again. You're not allowed to be Adam again. No.
I'm going to be Daisy.
See, Karen and Janice, we told you the bar was low.
Yeah.
Oh
Karen, Janice, who are
God.
you guys this week?
Karen, that's not fair because Karen is an actor and I have no acting credentials at all, Karen.
Yeah, but you're actually better at speaking than I am, Janice.
This is why Janice will be on a level with us. So this is good. Janice, who are you this week?
You see? All right, fine.
I think I'd like to be Daisy.
Okay.
Oh. Well, don't outdo it. Let me see your Daisy. Let's see how it goes. Do your best Daisy impersonation.
I'd have to say something snide. I can't think of anything.
No, it's not in your nature, unlike your sister, Karen. Who are you this week?
I think I'm going to be
Bethany, since I'm Daisy.
Steve.
Oh.
Steve.
Okay.
But I'm not being Steve. I'm being
Tracy.
Steve.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, see, both of those were good. She had a good face for Steve, and then that's a Tracy.
Yeah. Well,
There you go.
her career is
professional
safe.
actors.
Her
There we
career
go.
is safe.
Thank God.
So this week we're going to be talking about Joseph, Gemma, and Chesney, Bethany and Daisy, Maria and Gary, Tracy, Steve, and Tommy O, Sarah, Damon, and Adam, and Glenda. And we're also going to talk about our favorite moments from the week.
But first, I want to ask you guys, when did you start watching Coronation Street? Like for us, I think I started watching when I was maybe like 14 years old, and I started watching a little bit with my friend Hainsley, and which, funny enough, there's a Jamaican connection there as well. So it must just be force-fed into Canadian, Scottish, Jamaican homes all the time. But we would watch it occasionally without telling our friends, and then I didn't watch it again until we moved to Scotland, and I watched it in 95, 96. That's you and I really picked up again then. So when did you guys start watching?
Jan?
I started watching when Steve was a teenager.
Ooh.
So, and he had his first girlfriend. She was a biracial young lady. I can't remember her name.
Was it Maxine?
No.
Her friend. Fiona?
Yes, Fiona.
Right.
Yes, Fiona.
So that would have been 40 years ago.
Yeah. That's impressive. Karen?
I started watching when I was pretty much a zygote because Because I am told I was born in England, and so my mother was watching it when she was pregnant with me. So that's how it got into my system. But then we moved to Jamaica, and it wasn't available in Jamaica yet, and I didn't start watching again. When we moved to Canada, I actually didn't watch it when we first moved to Canada. It took me a few years, like 7 to 10 years, before I started watching it again. So when I was in utero, and then sometime like 20 something years thereafter.
Okay, so prenatal, and then in the 80s is basically.
Yeah.
The younger
not the 80s. It would have been the
one
90s, probably.
Would have been in the
It
90s?
was the 90s, because we moved in the 80s, so it took me till the 90s to start paying attention again.
Now, are you guys both fairly caught up in the Canadian release of the show? Like, have you watched this past week?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
good,
but
Janice.
I'm wondering, did we get one fewer episode this week?
No, we got 2 on Friday.
Yeah.
I only saw one on Friday.
No, there were
See,
2.
remember when we finished binging, I thought that we had one left to go.
No, I'm pretty sure there was 2 on Friday.
I
We
watched
got all of
on
them.
Friday. There were 2.
Yeah, exactly.
That is
We watched
pretty sad that that's what I do on my Friday night.
I find it empowering.
Exactly.
But Shannon, I'm with you. I thought there's only one episode, and I kept looking for the second one, and I couldn't find it. So I don't know. I gave up after a while. The disappointment is so great.
Shannon writes like thorough notes for the whole week of all the episodes.
Wow.
The last page was blank. It wasn't very impressive.
See?
Lots of notes. So, but she was watching, and we were late watching because we just got back from the UK on Friday night, and she was writing notes. And then Friday's double episode, she stopped and she's like, "Oh, it's not done yet." So I think that I mean,
we'll see if Karen's surprised by anything at the end. That'll tell us.
Okay, all right. Let's just dive right in, and feel free to.
Spoilers.
Too late. Yeah, part of the show.
I feel like you guys are used to saying that to your children. The way you said it in stereo.
Am I allowed to ask a question?
Yes, of course.
What is Coronation Street in the UK? How popular is it, and how much is it a part of the culture there?
Well, I tell you, I was in Manchester in February, and I was the first morning. We got a cab from the hotel to a studio, and not the studio. Shannon wouldn't let me visit the Coronation Street studios.
I wasn't in Manchester, so I said he couldn't go on the tour.
Yeah, we were there for different reasons, and Shannon controls how happy I'm allowed to be. And we were picked. The cab pulled up at the hotel, and it was streetcars, and I was so excited because it had the same logo and everything. I was like, "Why wouldn't you do that?" And I got into the car, and I said to the driver, "This is a big deal for me because I'm a big Coronation Street fan." And he went, "Yeah." No, and then I think I made the mistake of telling some young people that we do this Coronation Street podcast, and that did not make me any cooler at all.
I think in the UK, it's kind of like, I remember when I was in university, Young and the Restless was on every day.
Yeah.
And even if you didn't watch it, you kind of absorbed some of it by osmosis, and then you tune in 10 years later and it's like, oh, there's Nikki and Victor. And it's kind of like that. Yeah, I think. Yeah,
I think I've talked to a couple of people. I think I mentioned to one person when we were over there about the Coronation Street thing, and they said it's too close to home. It's too on the nose. So, but I mean, it's so popular in Canada. I think it gets like 800,000 to 1 million people every episode watching on CBC.
But it has to be popular in the UK too, or else it wouldn't be on TV.
I know, because I remember reading at one point there was like 26 million viewers per episode. So it's a guilty pleasure. I think people are just too ashamed to talk about it, but not us. Not us.
No, I'm proud of it.
We're brave enough to be proud.
I announce it to people. No, I'm going home. I got to go watch Coronation Street.
Exactly.
I announce it. This is what I do.
Did you guys so you watch it? So Janice, you watch it in the evenings, like each day, like we do.
Well,
Karen, do you do the same, or do you?
We also get
omnibus?
the reruns on a Sunday, but typically I don't watch on Sunday.
Yeah, because that's a big commitment.
Yeah.
The omnibus is massive.
I used to do the omnibus. I watch it. I save my episodes because like 1.5 hour, which is really like 22 minutes or whatever, it's not enough for me. So I watch on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays because I get
very
an hour
organized.
each time.
That's a good time management tip.
Thank you.
Okay,
we should plan that.
it's probably wiser if we
Yes.
did that. Exactly. All right, let's dive in.
Okay, so first, this is just brief because there wasn't too much to it, but it's kind of a bit of resolution. Joseph, Gemma, and Chesney. So Joseph passed his Oak Hill entrance exam, and then they said, "That's great. He passed the entrance exam, and someone's going to come to your house tomorrow to interview your child." And it was good to see the panic that every person goes through if someone's going to unexpectedly show up at their house and assess them.
They wash the windows outside.
Well,
Of all the things to
cleaning
do,
up the outside windows.
and then left the bucket out there when they wanted
Yeah.
to. Anyways.
I know. But I'm assuming that the part we didn't see is when they went out and got the bucket, right?
Yes, I think we have to assume.
I'm assuming that had to be the situation.
Exactly. Can we talk about that storyline yet?
Yes, this
is our time to shine.
This is our time to shine.
What I did like about that little storyline was that's the most I've liked Gemma.
She Chesney had said, "We want to buy his uniform," and Gemma was like, "What are you talking about? We can't afford that."
Yeah.
Chesney went and got Audie's old uniform from.
But
Beth.
I understand Chesney's.
Understand it, yes.
I understand Chesney wanting to do something and feeling a little emasculated, and he wants to do something for his son. I get that. I totally get
his
that.
emasculation is going to lead to his son looking silly in a uniform that doesn't fit when it's not necessary.
Exactly.
I don't know why they thought it would fit. I don't know why when Deb suggests something, anybody takes him seriously. Why do you think it's going to be a good idea?
Because he's got a new beard, and I'm not a beard person, but it suits him.
His new beard is he's like
more credible
an
now.
Indian Simon Le Bon now. He's like.
He's not credible.
Yeah, I'm interested, Stuart, in you saying that that's the first time you've liked Gemma, because I love Gemma.
I mean, I love the fact that she started off as a baddie. She was a bit of a bad girl, and because she was part of that drug gang or something, wasn't she? Remember, she was roughing somebody up in a car.
Remember that?
Yeah. And she ended up a lot of characters in Coronation Street. They start off bad, and you really don't like them, and then they make you like them. They see everyone's flawed, which is great.
Yeah.
And I think what I liked the best about it is because she seemed there's a lot of the Gemma Chesney quads storyline that I just don't buy. We always turn to each other watching and going, who's got the quads? Who's got the quads right now? There are 4 children.
When you're at the bottom
Emily
of the
Bishop.
stairs,
Emily Bishop is obviously.
When you're at the bottom
Absolutely,
of the stairs,
she was perfect.
When you're at the bottom of the stairs, signing to the deaf child.
Yes.
You're not within his line of sight. I don't know.
I think that you guys are being very nitpicky at the moment. I love the inclusivity of the sign language.
Absolutely.
And I think that in terms of you know what? I look at it from an actor's point of view. I can't help it. And without naming names, I can say that, there are different levels of acting ability on Coronation Street, just like there is with, with so many shows.
Sure.
And for my money, what Gemma and Chesney managed to do with what they're given is they are at the top of that strata for me.
That's pretty, I guess I kind of agree.
We did go to one of these Coronation Street tours, and we saw Abby and Tim, and they were saying that the actor who plays Gemma apparently spent hours learning sign language of her own on her own time,
which is great.
To do that,
which is awesome. And Coronation Street is quite inclusive in general.
Yes,
I like how we've talked on it. We don't talk about him this week, but about Bobby, the character Bobby. What does he have?
We don't know.
Yes, no, he said he has something. It's
is it cerebral palsy?
It might
cerebral
be.
palsy, maybe. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that that's just not a part of his character at all. Like that's I don't like him. It's like it doesn't matter what physical condition he's in. I don't care. I don't like him.
Getting better.
All right, we'll move on.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want to dwell.
All right. So Bethany and Daisy.
Ugh. See, now that is
Messed
I know
up.
it needs to stop. So Bethany and
I
Daniel.
know.
Bethany and Daniel see Daisy getting out of Tim's cab, all these designer bags. Bethany decides, I should put a little snide comment in here. So she comments on the cost of the spree. And Daisy said it's from a charity shop. And so don't worry about it. And then, so Bethany, I can't decide if Bethany is
pure as the driven snow.
No, he's sweet on Bethany.
No, we can decide that. We can decide that she's not that.
No, the other three of us disagree with you.
She is. No.
So
thank you very much, Janice.
Then Bethany overhears Daisy and Jenny arguing with Daisy, overhears Daisy and Jenny is arguing with Daisy, saying that she can't just take money out of the account like that. And Daisy said to Jenny, well, you did, because Jenny had bought this dress. And Jenny says, we're not supposed to be using that account. We don't want to raise suspicions. For some reason, Bethany is listening in on this, which is weird. And also, why wouldn't
she
you?
Can't help it. She's adorable. She's got very highly performing ears.
What is going on with Stuart? Why is he? Okay,
it's his midlife crisis. I let him have it. It keeps him quiet.
All right, buy a car.
And then Bethany, I want to say, tricks Tim into saying, but really it didn't take much tricking, into saying that he'd picked Daisy up from the expensive shopping area. Then she goes and sits with Carla, and Carla's all upset. And she's like, what's bothering you? And you should always be suspicious if Bethany's being nice to you. And Carla's upset because Gary's going to be selling the factory. He offered her first refusal. She can't afford to buy it because Bethany's uncle, Stephen, stole all her money.
Oh, and God, there's so much improbability in everything you just said. Okay,
why would Carla, you see Carla's mind kind of going in terms of where this money came from. Why would she draw a straight line between Daisy's money,
Jenny and Daisy,
Stephen Platts, or whatever his name is?
There are all kinds. Are you talking about Bethany? Why would Bethany draw that line, or why would Carla?
And then she tells Carla in the second, I think, episode of Friday.
Yeah.
And then Carla starts getting suspicious, and I'm like,
you just spoiled it.
How would you even link the two?
Okay. I know what I'm doing right after this. But listen, here's the thing. There are all kinds of improbabilities in the synopsis that you just gave, Shannon. But we all knew weeks ago when Daisy and Jenny hatched this plan that eventually it was going to get found out, right? So then the question becomes, well, now how do we engineer this whole process? And I gotta say, it is. I love Coronation Street. I will never stop watching Coronation Street. But there are some times when I just have to hiss my teeth in Jamaican, because you couldn't come up with something better than that. Than Bethany, who was born yesterday, just kind of, skulking around and just happens to hear two people having a conversation.
And somehow finding Stephen's diary.
And then going to Rita's diary and figuring it out at Bethany?
So let's go through the steps that Bethany went through here. So she says to Carla, who has Stephen's diary? And Carla says, Audrey has it.
Right.
And she goes and asks Audrey, her great-grandmother, and she says, I threw it away. You think that would be the end of it, but instead she somehow confronts Daisy and they get into some sort of polite off with each other where they end up that Daisy invites her and Daniel to dinner.
Yeah.
To dinner. Oh, yes.
And then
but did anyone have a problem with the fact that they made fun of the people were making fun of her for having a dinner party and were like, dinner party? Did people still do that? I thought people did.
I mean,
I thought so too, but I thought it was more about Daisy not being able to cook.
Oh, yeah, that's what I got. Was
right.
that
okay?
Yeah,
not
Daisy's
about me.
Not
that's
the person.
And then Daniel said to Bethany, Bethany's like, "Well, I should do something." And he's like, "You should go and help." So
who does that?
Daisy is his ex. If anyone's going to be helping chop, it should be Daniel. But he's like, no, Bethany, 19-year-old.
I'm sorry,
Bethany,
I just froze here.
She's not 19.
Everybody's frozen for me. What happened?
Mentally,
It'll catch up again. It'll catch up.
Okay.
There you go. You're back.
And then while she's over there, sabotages the dessert. Daisy has to go out and buy a new dessert.
The oven.
Yeah.
Yes.
The oldest.
And then Bethany goes and starts rifling through all of the drawers and cupboards in the city.
And it's always the third. It's always the third place, right?
Yeah.
It's always the third place.
Yeah.
And of course she finds it, and then she starts looking through the diary.
Does she even know
that no one could decipher before? It took Jenny and Daisy weeks. Well, it took Daisy weeks to figure that out. But Bethany, on first go through, Bethany.
She is an investigative journalist.
She's a very smart young woman.
Is she? Okay.
And then, so she yoinks the diary out of there, makes an excuse and leaves. They come back to the dinner party. It's getting all snide and snippy again. And Bethany's had a few too many drinks. And then she pulls the diary out on the table.
See, I missed this.
And then says in front of Ryan and Daniel.
I like how Janice is just shaking her head like, oh, it was a scene.
And in front of Daniel and Ryan, Bethany says, "This is the secret. This is the key. This is how Daisy and Jenny got hold of Carla's money that Stephen embezzled. And they stole it and they used it to buy the pub."
Like pegs the whole thing.
How does she know?
Because she's a smart young woman. Just take a look at her eyebrows and her perfectly coiffed hair.
Oh my God, and her sweatpants. Oh God. Okay.
So
all right.
Party breaks up. Ryan goes back to Carla's, and it was Ryan who says to Carla, "Hey, Bethany said this really weird thing." And Carla starts going. Actually, no, she's probably clattering a lot with her.
Yeah, she's usually got
bracelets.
bangles.
So the hardware on her, on her purse or whatever, yeah.
So before we get into more analyzing this, first of all, why is Ryan going to sleep at Carla's? Because Daisy's his girlfriend. Their night went okay for them. Plus, isn't Bobby sleeping in the room that used to be Ryan's and then was Simon's?
Bobby's not an issue right now. He's just not there. He's just...
I don't know how many bedrooms are in that place. I don't know how many bedrooms are in any place. Like how many bedrooms are in Chesney and Gemma's? Like how many?
80.
You know, exactly. There would have to be. So, you know.
Like the Doctor Who TARDIS.
New bedroom will show up when they need it on that show.
So here's my question. Is Bethany right to be investigating this, including going through Daisy and Jenny's private things? I mean, Carla is out the money that Stephen stole. Mm-hmm. And they found illicitly, it's not theirs.
I had forgotten that Carla didn't get insurance payout for a long. I just was assuming that she got paid out as well, so there was like double the money available.
Right,
but no, she just didn't get that money and had to start from bottom again.
Right. So is Bethany doing the right thing?
I never thought about it morally. I just thought about it from a believability point of view,
and there's nothing good about Bethany.
How dare you?
You're so offended.
You're gonna outgrow this, Stuart.
I just know. I used to have a crush on her mom, and I moved on.
You know what? That I'd actually respect.
You've lost respect? Is that what you said?
No, that I'd actually respect. That you do.
Well, okay.
That that you'd have a crush on Sarah.
But Sarah's like 2 years older than her daughter.
Pretty much. In real life and on the show.
That's why it's not creepy for me.
It's still creepy. Ew. Is Bethany right? I think that oh God, I don't know if it's a question of right or wrong. I think it's an issue of opportunity, and Bethany's own sense of, pushing her own agenda. Right? It's
I do agree with that.
Bethany wants a story. She doesn't like Daisy. She sees something there. She gets curious. She keeps digging. Right? And quite frankly, the writers just keep putting opportunities right in front of her.
Yeah. It's not her fault.
It's not her. No, I'm not. I am not. or I'm not supporting you.
But I think it's because Bethany she sees the opportunity for a story and for personal advancement. It's very, very selfish.
Right.
She's not doing it for justice.
I know, but what if justice is coming out of it? Then was she right?
That's moral luck. Then
it's going to be
fine.
like, I love Gary.
Yeah.
When we find the body of Kelly's dad that Gary killed and know that Gary did it, am I going to be rooting for Gary to not have justice? Probably. I don't know.
Yeah, because Gary's cool.
And because he did it to save his family.
Yeah.
So we're going to now move on to Maria and Gary.
Okay.
So it wasn't too much here. So Maria got chewed out by David for never being at work at the hair salon.
In a fantastic manner as well.
It was
because David's character, he's like hugely physical, slapsticky now. And he came bounding out in those huge work boots he wears.
All 5'8" of them.
And his crazy hair.
Well, his hair is like another 2 inches.
I like David.
Yeah, me too.
Janice really likes David.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yes, I
noted. All right.
That makes, because you've been watching since Steve was a teenager, which means you've been watching since David was 5, which makes it creepier for you to like David than it is for me to like Bethany.
If I can defend my sister, I'll tell you what it is. It's because it's not in the same way that you like Bethany. I think, and Janice, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that Janice is really appreciative that when everybody else in the room is talking stupidness, like for instance when Stephen was doing all that stuff and nobody could see it, David was the only one who was speaking sense.
Okay.
And he does it in such an entertaining, offhanded way.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is evil, but you can't hate his evilness.
No.
You and I suffer from the same sickness, Janice.
Because he did push his mom down the stairs that one time, right?
Yes.
All right, moving on. Sorry, moving on.
Yes, Maria and Gary.
Yes, so because she's always homeschooling Liam. So
her and Gary.
She talks to, what's that? Sorry?
Her and Gary.
Yes.
Who has like a 6th grade education. But anyway.
I know.
He went to the school of life.
I did enjoy when she first started homeschooling, where it's one of these things where you think, I could homeschool. Sure. Oh, wait. What's this algebra and this science that you're talking about? Okay. No. So it's decided that Gary and Maria need the money. So Maria says, okay, they decide she's going to go back to work 3 days a week at the salon. And Gary,
I thought she was cutting back to 3 days, or she's going up to 3 days.
No, I think she hasn't been
she
attending.
hasn't been, right. Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
And then Gary said, I'll homeschool on the days that you aren't there. He can come into the shop with me, whatever. So she goes, it's a bridal party. She's distracted. Meanwhile, kudos to Maria. Not that I don't think she's a bright woman, but she opened some kind of webcam from a box. And then while Gary was taking the trash out, she installed it properly and hooked it up to her phone.
Smart, yeah.
She's so smart.
In between 2 books. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was good. So while she's at the salon, she keeps checking her phone. And then when she suddenly can't see Liam, she takes off, abandons all the clients, and goes to the house. When she comes back to the salon, Audrey's there taking care of everything. Yeah, go ahead.
Given that I somehow my CBC Gem app did not give me this episode, my question was Audrey able to do with the bride's hair what Maria couldn't? Because that bride wanting the braid and the chignon, and that wasn't going to work out. We could all see it.
So I think Audrey went and got the extension that Maria was going to be using. Yeah. And she seemed to have inserted the extension properly without hurting her head, which Maria had been doing. So it seemed to work.
Okay.
And then
thank you.
Bridesmaids were doing each other's hair.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
But Audrey had a talk with her afterwards. And I want to say Audrey was lovely. Very understanding.
As your sister said, Audrey's a tower of strength.
It was her friend Kathleen that said it, but yes.
Well, her friend Kathleen was correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
So here's my question. Is Maria going to be able to move herself and Liam back into real life? Because she was panicking at the idea of leaving him.
Yeah.
She's gotten it's obviously just become an anxiety thing. Liam seems to be doing well, but he's not going out of the house.
Yeah.
Are they coming back?
I think they will because it's Coronation Street and everything.
And they have to. Like they have to at some point move on. Now it might not happen before it makes all of us angry, but it'll happen.
Yeah.
So we'll end up losing sympathy for Liam because we'll be like, just go outside. Come on.
Yeah. Especially when what's his name Mason is in jail. Just go outside.
Yeah. And once Bethany brings Mason to justice.
Because she went to law school for 2 weeks.
I think that Sean's son, I can't remember his name. Sorry,
Dylan.
I think Dylan's going to have something to do with Liam coming back to life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I hope
I
so.
agree.
Yeah, because he's going to be up for the trial.
This is why, yeah. That's really astute thinking, Janice. Not that I'm surprised. This is why it's better that you had her on with me.
I like the fact that Janice's feed, which people won't be able to tell once this is produced, but Janice's feed is like crystal clear, perfect, not a problem. She's in Jamaica.
Jamaican technology.
Karen's in downtown Toronto and could as well be in Siberia.
It's probably my dirty glasses.
No, you're fuzzy anyway. Your background is a little blurred, and sometimes
it'll come.
That's good. That's actually good. I don't want people to know where I live.
She has stairs in her home. Everyone listening, she has stairs in her home. That should narrow it down.
And it's white. The walls are white.
The walls are white. Just look in every window. You see white walls? Probably her place.
Okay, so moving on to the next one. Steve, Tracy, and Tommy O.
Okay, can I just say... Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Please.
I can... Okay, for the longest time, I thought that Tommy's name was actually Tommy Hopington. And because it's Coronation Street, they just didn't pronounce the H and they put a slight R after the O.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was Orpington.
Tommy Orpington.
Did that happen to anybody else?
No.
Okay, carry on. Moving on.
So Steve went on the speed dating night at the Rovers. Nobody was interested in him.
Heartbreaking.
He's a little sad, so Amy's offered to take him out to dinner as a consolation. So he goes to meet Amy at the flower shop where she's closing up for Tracy for the day because Tracy's away. And she's forgotten something at home. So Steve says,
of course, her charger, because her phone's dead.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll close up. I'll cash out. I know how to do it. No worries. You go get it. I'll see you there. Locks the door. And then Tommy comes along, knocks on the door, thinks it's Tracy inside. Steve hides on the floor. Tommy's like, please just give me another chance. Slides a note under the door. Steve takes it, reads it. It's like, don't know what he's going to do with it. Goes and sees Tracy, or next time he runs into Tracy, and he's pulling the note out of his pocket. And Tracy says to him, Steve, we should just get back together because there's no point in both of us being miserable. And I don't know, what else are we going to do? And Steve's like, that sounds like a great invitation. Puts the note back in his pocket.
Poor Steve.
And says, I'm going to go get us some champagne to celebrate. Heads off to Dev's. Puts the champagne on the counter. Dev takes his money, puts in the till. He says, what's this for? Did you meet someone on that app? And he says, no, Tracy and I are back together. Dev grabs the bottle, slaps the money back, and he says, that's a terrible idea. It's the worst idea I've
doing
ever
you a
heard.
favor.
And so they said, that's fine. We'll go to the Rovers to celebrate. Go into the Rovers, tell everybody their great news. And everyone's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No good.
Tracy gets a little bit overwhelmed, decides this maybe isn't the best thing, heads out to go take a break at the house, gets a call from an unknown caller, answers it, and it's Tommy. And he says, did you get my note? First of all, she freaks out on Amy, thinking that Amy hid it from her, finds out it's Steve, and Steve tries to deny it, but then admits it. And that's it. Tracy and Tommy O are going to head off into the sunset together.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what was interesting, Tracy gets in a cab to go spend the night away before she leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Into the cab with all her stuff, crane shot leaving the street.
Yeah.
But then shows up the next day in the pub, which I quite like that the crane shot is no longer
I think because,
symbol.
it's like, I think the Coronation Street writers listening to the fans going, well, you get a black cab and a crane shot, you're done. You're out.
Yeah.
I
So
felt
they go-
cheated.
When she came back?
Well, yeah, because we all know black cab, crane shot, bye-bye,
Gone.
right?
Exactly.
And she shows back up and I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
I feel it's maybe, is her name Kate Ford?
Yeah.
I feel it's maybe like she's going to be away for a long time. And she's like, no, I have 30 years history on this show. I want a crane shot and then to come back again.
Yeah.
Well, she is going to come back again. Give it 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
She
agree.
always comes back.
And when they were in the Rovers having the goodbye drinks, Abby was there. And I was like, why is Abby there? It's like, oh, her and Tracy are BFFs, which I'd forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
Where was Abby when Tracy was having the affair with Tommy, the relationship with Tommy, getting kicked out by Steve and Ken?
Mm.
How was Kevin not taking advantage of his partner being best friends with Tommy's new girlfriend?
Well, he did initially.
I feel that was just
when Tommy O was
Steve.
coming over to do decorating work. Remember they were hanging out, Tim and Kevin came over and they're like, hi, how are you? And they opened the door and came in.
Yeah, but
and
that was no Abby connection.
no, Abby was probably looking after the quads.
While shooting a movie in Denmark.
Yeah.
Abby has a kid that same age.
Does she?
Yes.
The quads age?
Yeah.
Perfect.
With not
like
with
in
Kevin.
the show. I thought you meant in real life.
No,
in the
no,
show.
in the show.
What's his name?
Not
that
Kevin.
Toya killed.
Yeah.
Imran.
Imran.
Yeah. That's right.
Remember that?
What's that baby's name?
I
That's
don't know.
terrible, isn't it?
He hasn't been in it in a while.
Yeah.
Yes. So here's my question. Is this the end for Tracy and Steve? Or do you want it to be the end for Tracy and Steve?
I don't think it's the end. Steve will always be open.
Mm-hmm.
Tracy will always get her heart broken because who is Tommy and where are you going? Spain? Have you ever been there? She'll be back. Steve will get into another relationship. He'll be totally in love. This one will be the one. And then Tracy will somehow kind of weave her way back into his life.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
And if nothing else works, Amy will be pining because she wants her parents to be back together. She'd like it to be the way it was. And there'll be a Christmas.
Wow, this is incredible detail.
I do have a sad mundane life. Yes, so there'll be a Christmas when Tracy will be back and conveniently weave her way back. And, Ken is getting old, so maybe he wants his family together and there'll be that connection.
Karen's
but that's only if Amy doesn't start pining for her mother and then gets a phone call from her mother inviting her over to Spain, and then Amy leaves the show for a couple of years.
So
there's that. Listen, I don't think that it's the end for Steve and Tracy, but that doesn't mean that I don't want it to be the end for Steve and Tracy, right? I mean, lest we forget, Tracy is a murderess.
Yes.
But justified.
And I'm just like, how will we pass that?
But didn't she do it in self-defense? Wasn't he? It was Charlie Stubbs, right?
Yeah, but also,
I guess you just can't kill people.
Also not.
Yeah.
Yeah, also not.
Also, it's Tracy.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
I really thought that. Do you remember Karen with the big earrings that Steve went out with? Was married to?
Yeah.
Karen McDonald,
who went on to have a fantastic career because
Yeah.
between her and Sarah Lancashire, I'm just like.
I know.
They were like, Coronation Street is a starting spot.
Crazy.
I had really hoped that Steve and Karen were going to be the new Jack and Vera. I thought they were going to be on it forever.
Karen and Steve.
Well,
yeah. Because Tracy Karen was never going to be that role.
Karen. Yeah.
All right. Moving on.
Okay. This one's brief. Sarah, Damon, and Adam. So Sarah goes to see Damon in prison. Tells him, I've decided I'll wait for you. He says, no, thanks. And he says, I'll be in for a while. She's like, that's okay. I'll wait for you. And he says, no, thanks.
And she came ready to play.
And I don't know if does this mean he's going back to work with Harvey from jail and he wants to keep her out of it?
I think he doesn't have a choice. I think he's realizing he's stuck with his brother, especially now that he's in prison, and he wants to protect Sarah and whatever his name is, the kid, Harry, and he wants to keep them out of it. So he's like, listen, baby, I'm no good. I'm a loner. I'm a rebel.
And then the whole reason I brought this short subject up, Sarah goes over to see Adam to ask if they can hold off on selling the flat for a while so she and Harry have a place to stay. And I'm not an Adam fan. Adam was looking very, very nice. That's why I brought this up.
It's just because you like that one hairstyle of the 8 different scenes he had. Every scene, he's got a new haircut.
Listen,
fluffy, spiky, straight, back, sleek back.
Why does Adam have a Scottish accent?
Yes.
Because he's Scottish.
Yeah, he was raised in Scotland.
He is Peter Barlow's twin sister's son.
Yeah. And she left to go to Scotland.
She went to Scotland, and that's where Adam was born and raised.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
But,
and also, he was the best looking Scot available when they casted the role.
He is pretty broody.
He does have the Ken Barlow gene for hair.
Oh,
my God, that gene.
So good.
I know.
All right, finish it off.
Okay, so Glenda. So poor Glenda. So Jenny had canceled Daisy's karaoke night. Daisy goes to the Lakes District for the night away with Ryan, as it's the 1-year anniversary of the acid attack. Anyways,
okay,
that was just
announced that out of the blue, by the way.
She did start wearing low-cut tops this week where you could see her little acid
scar.
Right.
And Ryan's like, yeah, I hope you're okay.
And she's like, how's your face?
And I like how the fact that he came back this week and he's got his arm is in the cover now because the makeup people are like, nah, we'll do your face, man, but we're not doing the arm every time as well.
Yeah, we're heading into summer. There's going to be a lot of bare arms. And then Rita offers Jenny a posh overnight adventure. So Jenny abandons speed dating, puts Glenda in charge. Glenda does a bang up job of the whole thing.
Yeah. As she always does.
Because she's great.
Fantastic.
And there's a guy named Connor who seemed to be sort of walking out of the toilets, and she stopped him and said, oh, join our singles night. So he did. He was a hit. People liked him. Then later that night, everything's closed. Glenda hears a noise in the pub when she's coming downstairs, goes to investigate. Robbery in progress. Stuff being smashed everywhere. They seem to have mallets, which seems to be the weapon of choice for violent assaults.
Well, it's for smash and grabs. Smash, grab, smash, grab.
That's the same thing that Damon and them all had.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they just bought a bunch of mallets on sale.
Never have to reload
them. And so she is threatened, forced to the floor. Really traumatic, horrible. Jenny comes home the next morning as Glenda and the police are coming out of the pub. You'd think as the landlady of a licensed establishment,
you would have been contacted.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, there was a robbery at your place.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyways, so poor Glenda, and Jenny is very lovely to Glenda about the whole thing.
Sure.
Very understanding. And then so Glenda goes out for a walk while on the street, has a bit of a panic attack flashback, but she remembers that she has seen that the attacker had the same tattoo on his wrist that Connor at speed dating had. And then she also, another part of this story was Hope comes up to Brian and asks for a job delivering papers if she can get an advance to go buy a tablet in the precinct.
Yeah, but I love Brian's line to her where he said, it's just the new kindling of choice. It's a reference to her fire starting. I thought that was funny.
Very good. Clever.
And Brian goes down, finds the seller, pretends he wants to buy it, then confronts him, gets shoved down, keeps the tablet.
But he's fine.
But pass it back to Paul. So it was very dramatic storyline for Glenda. A lot happened there. My question is, what's going to come of this storyline? Why was this introduced?
Because Glenda is a fantastic character who is portrayed by a very capable actress, and they needed to give her something to do.
That's not very romantic sounding reasoning.
Janice as
was it not?
Janice as a non-professional actor, what do you think was the reason?
Not an actor at all. It while you were talking, it dawned on me that, not, oh, I guess Sarah's daughter. What's her name again?
Bethany. Her name is Bethany, Janice.
Oh, okay. Okay. She was able to draw all those lines, improbable lines, yet Glenda's case seems open and shut in terms of who the attacker was, and we're dragging that storyline. That's weird to me. I think maybe with all of the characters leaving, like with Peter Barlow leaving and with Tracy leaving, etc., we're introducing new characters. Maybe Connor is going to be a new character, and so you have to bring him into the fold somehow.
I like Janice again. She's smart. I agree.
I kind of thought he might be going to be a new character when he came into speed dating night. But
that's what I thought too.
But now that his tattoo has been identified and now I'm thinking, can he be a new character? Because surely if they find him, they'll just arrest him.
Not necessarily, because you get people killing people left and right on the street, and they're fine. They're all just living their lives.
Or if they arrest him, and then somehow, if they arrest him, and either Dee Dee or Adam become his lawyer, because those are the only lawyers ever, and it's DC Flamin' Swain who goes and picks him up,
does everything.
With Craig just kind of behind her. Anyway, if all of that happens and they find out that somehow he was there under duress or something, he could just get probation, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And have a conversation with Glenda about why it happened. And then there's a spark. And before you know it, they're playing happy family.
And they're short one bad guy because Damon is in jail.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a very logical way of looking at it too.
Probably.
So you need another, do I like him, do I not like him guy?
Yeah, I can see that.
Why do you think it's brought in?
I think I'm not sure exactly what the Connor aspect will play out to. I think Janice is right, and then he'll probably be back as possible as like a love interest even. However, I think that one of the things Coronation Street does really well, in addition to like being very inclusive, they'll tackle disabilities, they tackle panic attacks, PTSD, anxiety.
Stuff, yeah. Right.
And it's great. Right. It's so good because it's like, you would think, oh, there was a robbery and it seems to be open and shut case. Well, that doesn't end there though. Like that, she's all freaked out and jangled and she's had panic attacks and having anxiety. And
which is kind of what, with like Maria as well.
Yeah, exactly. Same with Maria. Exactly. Same idea where it's like, I think there's a little bit of public service in Coronation Street where they're like, we're kind of normal.
Let's
people.
talk about this.
Yeah. Which I like.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Because Glenda was very adamant that I just put on my makeup and throw back my shoulders and keep going on with the day. And it's like, you can say that, but that doesn't mean you can actually do that. Or you should do that.
Yeah. Because they could have done that for the sake of the story. Just kind of been like, we'll focus on Connor as a bad guy and whatever happens to him. But instead they're like, that's kind of done.
Mm-hmm. What does that do to
Glenda?
Yeah. Which is basically what I said. I said, she's good. Give her something to do.
That's true. Yeah.
I support seeing more of Glenda. And the amount of time she must have to spend in makeup, she deserves more screen time.
Oh, I think she's been doing that makeup ever since she was 12.
She is a gorgeous woman.
She is.
They really do. They have crafted that character well. In terms of, her background, the whole cruise ships and, being in entertainment. And that's the way she
George's sister with
herself.
perfect match.
I just love, what?
George's sister as well, right?
Yeah. George's sister.
And match.
Yes, absolutely. And I love the way, you find out that someone can either stitch knickers or pull a pint. Mm-hmm. As the storyline requires.
Yeah.
You just find out that, they have a background in it somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. So favorite moments. So this is, the past few months, I found that the writers are pulling a lot more humor into small moments of Coronation Street. It used to be that everything would be kind of gloomy and then they would be like, oh, we're going to have a panto on the street and everyone's going to be in it. Let's have this funny episode.
Right.
Now I find they're injecting more good moments. So my favorite moment was Steve walking down to speed dating with the Staying Alive intro being recreated. His strut was spot on, and the camera shots were spot on.
And given his age, it was appropriate.
It was
Yes. Yes.
I agree. I think my favorite moment would have to be, I'm going to go back to my favorite moment of David coming over to give Maria hell for not showing up to work, but just the way in which he came out. I think he's like characterizing his own character. He's like coming out. He knows he's goofy and crazy and he's larger than life and
always complaining.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Yeah.
Janice, what was your favorite moment?
Janice, I can't think of one.
I think my favorite moment was Steve looking like a schlep. I mean, it was a little bit, uncomfortable, but I couldn't believe how low he would sink. For Tracy to leave him and then leave him again and then leave him again. And he was willing to put up with all of that because he somehow thinks he can't do any better than her. I don't think it's that he loves her. I think that he can't do better. He thinks he can't do better. Yeah. I thought that was poignant.
Yeah, I agree.
Or maybe he doesn't even want to have to try to do better. It's just easier.
Yeah,
not to.
I think that's. I think that's very on point.
The not trying to, your haircut is just whatever it is. Your clothes are just, a plaid shirt and a pair of jeans will work every day. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
How dare you?
Because Bethany, Stuart. Because Bethany. That's how dare we.
You deserve it.
Bethany wouldn't complain about my plaid shirt and jeans.
She would not take
and she'd write an article about it.
Remember what she did with Daniel this week because he needed to change. He needed to have a shower and change because he was going to dinner.
That's true.
Exactly.
Put on a decent shirt, she said.
You know what I loved? At the risk of having Stuart yell at me, I loved that when Chesney and Gemma decided that they had to put on this show for the woman who was coming to interview. What's his name? Joseph. I love that she just happened to have this dress with this jacket available to her. She put it on. She looked quite nice from here to about her knees.
Yes.
But then from her knees down and from here up, it was still a total mess. That's the dedication that I'm talking about, because what that actress has to do with her hair in order to have it look like that, and it is her hair, it's not a wig.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't know if I would allow them to do that to me, because that hair is bleached and teased and destroyed beyond redemption.
And
right?
We've talked before that your favorite thing about Gemma is her
foundation.
The line
of foundation.
The line in her foundation.
It just stops at her chin.
From here to her knees, she was great. But the shoes were terrible and the makeup and the hair was disastrous.
I did really love that scene where they were both done up and then Gemma started talking in a slightly posher accent, but also looking at Chesney like, I don't know why I'm doing this.
I know.
Which was
it
great.
was great.
I love it.
And Joseph is lovely because he just, I love Joseph because he's just like, I'm just going to be chill throughout this whole thing because these are my parents. Welcome to my life.
Yeah. At least the quads aren't here right now. Yeah.
At least there's nobody peeing on me, on the donut cushion. The sprinkles are actually like embroidery and not pee or vomit.
All right. Well, there you go. We've covered the entire week. So thank you both for Janice and Karen for making this episode entirely way too entertaining. And that means it's going to be a big drop down next week when we don't have any guests. I think just for thematics here, we should probably, if you can play the theme, that'd be really great before, and then we'll come back after the theme. It's so good. It's so good.
You just did that to get a reaction.
It's so good.
How did you not get sued over that?
It's the national anthem of Canada.
It's such a ripoff, though.
It's not. It's an homage, Karen. It's an homage.
Whatever.
Well, I'd
Thank you
like
both
to
so much
thank
for
you
being here.
guys for doing this podcast and for showing that people in the Caribbean, the English-speaking Caribbean, actually watch Coronation Street. And there's a reason why we watch. It's a part of my nighttime hygiene.
Fantastic. I love it.
And I was unaware that it was watched down there, really.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not by many people.
Yeah.
Not by many people.
So you're one of the elite.
I wouldn't say that because
But she's thinking it.
We'll say that.
I wouldn't bring it up
We'll
in conversation generally.
I think also if you could send a couple of bucks to your sister Janice so she can get better internet, that'd be good.
It's fine. It's fine. It's just, it's that when you put, you know what it is? It's probably that my camera is my camera lens probably has my fingerprint on it. From all
I don't want to ask it. I don't want to know
That's
why.
Probably what it is.
I don't need to know any information beyond that. That's fine.
So
That's
totally
fine.
Wow. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So you go to northofweatherfield.ca.
No, you can't go to northofweatherfield.ca. That's the wrong address, Shannon. You can just go to weatherfield.ca. If you go to northofweatherfield.ca, you'll get a 404 page not found error.
Okay, so this is why I don't usually do this bit.
Go to weatherfield.ca to subscribe. You'll get an email notification when there's a new episode. You can, of course, subscribe and follow on all your favorite podcast platforms. Thank you again to Janice and Karen for joining us today. And thank you for listening and or watching. And we'll see you next week on North of Weatherfield, the Canadian Coronation Street podcast. Thanks so much.
Thank you.